All right. Well, there we go. We move on from lovely segments. Although the last time I was trying to make progress in this was when Mills was giving more gifted subs, and then we had a hell of a detour. And that's okay. We need to finalize what the hell this roster is going to be because the Vancouver Canucks need to make it back to the playoffs, please. We need to get back to the playoffs, please, and thank you. We are barely cap compliant by less than 1 million. Billions and billions. All right. Let's see. Ooh, we got some top fivers. We got some first rounders. Give me 6 weeks in the dub. Let's go. We're bird abound, baby. We're bird abound. Bird abound. So yeah, what did we find out today in that in-between? I do know my American history, although who gives a shit? I wouldn't be a good fit for Australia, but I could move to Canada. I could pass that test, goddammit. We found out that Australian governor generals are stupid. No, it was the prime minister that just, like, didn't do shit. Or it's like, you know, it's like, yes, I'm the prime minister, but you actually got to talk to my dad if we want to. He's got the final say, you know? Doogie can pass as a Quebecer. I am more likely to pass a Quebec-based citizenship test than Alberta. That is true. That is true. Goodness, I got that fighting Quebecois spirit in me. As opposed to the Alberta Texan truck nut spirit. Negative 33 reputation. Let's go, baby. All right. So what is our team going to look like this season? This season. Goalars. Hello. We have Riley Pickard and Zach Foucale with Robidoux, Ingram, and Montpetit in the AHL. Our defense this year. Holy Madison Bowie. Let's go, baby. We got Bowie, Giordano, Theodore, Tanev, Irwin, Corrado, Klein, all in the mix. Jake Bean, Ralph Jarrett. I mean, a bunch of these guys are getting real close to being ready, which is nice. But we do have a defense. Right wing side. Holy God. Holy God. You think Trump asked if he could bring back Lincoln and Washington from the dead to fight for the White House UFC event? Maybe. I mean, let's be honest. Saudi Arabia, when the WWE first started going there, they asked if Yokozuna could participate. And they said, Yokozuna's dead. So they just got a guy who looks like Yokozuna to go to the event instead. That's a thing that happened. Oh, Sherbak, Sprong, Korostelev. I do need somebody else. We got Pacioretty, Pouliot, Shinkarik, Osplund, Gounce. All right, so wow, Korpikoski is no longer good enough. Nor is Kirkland. Okay, so we can just consider one of these guys the extra right wing that we need. That's fine. And then the centers, Horvat, Dubois, McCann. I don't think I want Nolan Patrick playing yet. So let's actually call up Korpikoski again. We'll consider him a winger. And we'll have Gounce as a center. So the NHL team's actually looking pretty good, honestly. It's looking pretty good. I don't hate it. So they got Taker and Kane versus DX in a shitty match. Yeah, but did you ever think about how much Shawn Michaels got paid? All right. So we'll go Korpikoski, Osplund, Gounce. And then in theory, a lot of skill. We will go Shinkarik, Horvat, Sprong, Korostelev, McCann, and Pouliot. Top line, Pacioretty, Dubois, Sherbak. Let's go Horvat. We'll give Dubois a little bit less. And then defense is Giordano, Bowie, Theodore, Tanev, Irwin, Corrado. Fine by me. Fine by me. Goalars, Foucale, Pickard. I mean, this team might be good enough to make it back to the playoffs. And then AHL goalies, we have Robidoux and Ingram, Morin Bean, Jarrett Mellock, Day, and Friend. It's fine by me. And then forward-wise, can we get Carter Bonks out of there? Probably get Bayer into the mix instead. And we'll get Volk out of there for Pizzetta. And Kennedy out for Hanley. Let's just play him a forward. All right, so Volk is scratched. Bonks is scratched. That's good there. Who did I miss? I missed somebody. Kennedy. Kennedy! I hit the wrong button! No! Who was top line center? I think it was DeBrincat. It was DeBrincat. There we go. That's a good team. That is a good team. I like it. I like it a lot. We're looking good. Our little rebuild on the fly. Even though we still have $18 million in salary cap. It's looking pretty damn good, I would have to say. So, all right. So, yeah, negative 33 rep right now. Build good relationships and try to stay healthy. That's the goal. That is the goal. All right. Expecting you to make the playoffs this year. I bet you are. But is that going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. Kirkland, that guy from Destiny. I don't know what that is. Fun fact, I don't know what that is. All right. Well, preseason-wise, we're not doing so hot, which kinda sucks. That kinda sucks. Crash, you know what you sent me earlier? I just tried to make it a thing. Yeah. Messaging you back on Twitch. It apparently needs to be slightly edited first. Not Twitch. Twitter. It's the Twitter machine. Gotta message him on the Twitter machine. Alright. Let me go... I did check the drive, but also what I just said still very much applies. All right, let us clear out the trade block so that the season doesn't take 17 years to simulate, because we know it will otherwise. Try to piss off every GM as possible. I mean, we could, which is very funny. I wonder if that would hurt my rep, is to be like, hey, you're the most hated GM in the league. That probably means I'm doing well then, right? Probably. At least in some way. Everybody hates him. Like, cool. I want to be hated. Let's go. It's a great time. Designated Survivor was a TV show with the concept that the Capitol building gets blown up during the State of the Union. The only guy that survives is like the head of urban development or something ridiculous. It lasted 3 seasons before getting canceled. Congrats to that show for surviving 3 seasons with a concept like that. Fair play. Oh, you know, yeah, okay. I Googled it and it has Kiefer Sutherland. Okay. I knew it existed. Can't say I ever watched it. But I knew it existed. So, you know. Currently playing NHL 05. I forget that every game they take a bit to talk about who's refereeing that game and how it'll affect the game. Yeah. You know, good attention to detail. Instead, now it's like, well, these kids got Call of Duty brains, so let's not have any frickin' replays or anything whatsoever. Because, you know, they're too busy chugging Monster and wanting to get back to the action as fast as possible. You know. Because, yeah, the main actor was a piece of shit. Hey, Kiefer Sutherland, a piece of shit? No. Come on now. That was Jack Bauer. And then all the other... I mean, in fairness, I mean... He was in The Lost Boys. I mean, come on. Come on now. You can't forgive Kiefer Sutherland because he was in the Lost Boys? Come on now. Come on. He's in the goddamn Lost Boys. The greatest film of our time. Kiefer Sutherland's dad did a weird scream once. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, can I finally have information on these players from the dub? Please. How do I still not have information on one of these guys? Piss off, man. Give me information on that one dude. You're out of your... What, is he hurt? Is he just not playing this season? Come on now. Reds, take it easy. Good to have you hanging out. Sorry you showed up at a very awkward time in this stream's history. Actually, I'm not. We should do more quizzes while we wait. I mean, honestly, these seasons take long enough. If someone's like, hey, here's a fucking sporcle or something that's hockey or wrestling related, I'm down. Probably probably hockey related. I don't know. To be confirmed, to be fair, confirmed medium late first round. It could be a steal. That's fair. But that guy just had no information on him whatsoever, was the thing. I think we're burnt out on Canadian, Australian, and U.S. citizenship practice tests. Yeah, see, I cannot get any information on this one dude, Kuiper, whatever, you know, at all. All I know is Shadur Sanders is a big fan of him. All right, so let's go elsewhere. I found it, 205. What, the weird scream? Oh, you found Totally Spanish. Good times. The NHL 16. Dude, it's really funny that it was an NHL 16 franchise mode. When, oh, yeah, dude, the audio at the time was horrific. I mean, again, like, so when I was uploading this stuff, which was 8 years ago, right? When I was uploading this series 8 years ago, in terms of the audio, I was going through the Xbox app on my PC and recording through an Xbox headset. Because I'm like, well, I can't invest too much into what I'm doing. But yeah, shout out to Totally Spanish. Or, excuse me, it should have been Definitely Spanish. Apparently. I like how chat's just... Well, actually, I think I said Totally Spanish and then converted it to Definitely Spanish. What a time. What a time. Shout out to my old account that commented on that video. Yeah, I remember when I used to be able to comment on all the fucking comments. Reply to comments on YouTube. What a great time. What a great time. And it's been 8 years of people being like, hey, do this instead. And I'm like, no. All right. And then we get just stuck in that conversation. So. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. All right, really quickly. Let me do what I got to do here while this continues to load. I might actually kind of pay attention this season because we are in the conversation. We are in the conversation in terms of potentially making the playoffs, which is good. Shocking, but good. So I'm a fan of that. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm gonna find the right one here. Crash knows what I'm working on. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Oh, United States. What do we got? Do we have anybody in Czechia? As a potential first rounder. We'll look at him. Why not? I wish it would continue simming, like where you left off. Once it's like, hey, the simming's done, because then it's just kind of, sits there, which is a bit weird. But you know, all right. Let's see, 11, 15, and 1. Okay, so about making the playoffs, maybe not. Maybe not. We might not be good enough to make the playoffs, actually. Which is a bit of a bummer. But we do still have a super young team. Our first rounder there, we already know about. Let's go to the O. I love how there's 7 defensemen in the entirety of the OH. It's so good. It is so good to just be like, yep, there's 7 defensemen. That's it. Take your pick. Take your pick. All right, let's see. Goodness. The good old days of NHL 16 when I am still currently playing NHL 16. I can't even call it the good old days. Would the OHL be defunct? Yes. Colin, take it easy. And indeed, big day tomorrow. Big day, big day. I don't think we need to look at goalies. Primarily, at least. Top 10. All right, we got info on him. This was current day of the OHLD. Remember being the NCAA. I mean, maybe that's the story here then, right? Is technically they're all just going to the NCAA. That's where they are. It makes perfect sense that that's why there's no OHL defenseman. They all went to college. Cody, I saw them. I'm kind of waiting to see. I'm having to pay more attention to the scouting than I wanted, which is a bit of a bummer, but that's okay. Lottie Schmid. Lottie. Only 33 at this point. He's not even making that much money, otherwise I would claim him. If he was making a little bit more, a little bit less. OHL's just one team. That's fair. That is fair. All right. Let's see. The trip to Russia. WHL forwards. We still don't know any information about that one dude. That is so weird. Let's go back to the O. They do have plenty of forwards, at least. It's the London Knights. Imagine having Joe Schmo, OHL dude, being like, oh, I can sign in Harvard. I know that's not how it works, but I'd like to go to college, too. It's fair. It is fair. Instead, you're going to Vermont. Which, in fairness, Vermont's pretty chill. So, Vermont is pretty chill. Crashy, well done on the cap whale. I knew you were working on a whale. Yeah. Crashy's cap whale. The finest emote. Only the finest from one Crash_Andrews on Twitch, the master of NBA 2K franchise mode. It's a tier 2. It's not supposed to be. But also, pay for it, bitch. I didn't put it in tier 2. Maybe you're just drunk. Have you ever considered that? It's in a tier 1. Might just have to refresh. See, defense. Ooh, there's a guy from Bosnia. I'm subbed but not subbed. Yeah, you are. What? I got some dudes from the U.S. in the first round. How did we not come up with a cap whale emote sooner than what we did? And it's funny because the idea popped up finally in a game where I literally cannot use proper cap whales, like in NHL 25. How stupid is that? That makes no sense. I mean, nothing about this channel makes sense, but that makes no sense. You know? It's so dumb. Speaking of dumb, the perfectly mid Vancouver Canucks. What's the challenge here? I don't even know anymore, man. I don't even know anymore. It was to try to get as many phones as we possibly could, but that fell apart pretty quickly. The challenge is the game itself and not crying. That's fair. That's a pretty accurate description, I would say. The challenge is Vancouver. Great city of Vancouver. So expensive. That was weird. Yeah, Crash, because you're weird. Damn it. But also, I had to refresh the stream myself like 3 times to get it to show up properly. Because the first time I refreshed, it was like, oh, it's still not there. Okay. Second time I refreshed, oh, that's locked. That's a tier 1 subscription. Subscribe if you'd like to use it. And it's like, I'm the streamer? Excuse me? A squared. Yes. I don't know if we're going to do pro rel for it. We might. But even if I don't specifically do promotion relegation, I do still like the idea of at least jumping from conference to conference, especially because they have the trophy room back in the game. So, you know, collecting all the Infinity Stones there is pretty fun. I would, Crash. I would. I should have, actually, now that you're bitching about it that much. Big bitcher. Bitch. Love you. 21, 23, and 3. I forgot that was an emote, too. Of course, the logo for the Great Canadian Crash. You inspired me to do it a while ago, but it's a lot of work. It is. It's a bit tedious to track everything, you know? But I could. I could. Maybe I should. Davey Clarkman, $5 million of salary for the rest of the year. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sergachev just got fucking slapped. What the hell did he do? We're going to claim David Clarkson. They're also sending down Martin Jones. I'm going to say no. But, yeah, we'll claim David Clarkson just as a cap whale. Yeah, there you go, Sam. Wendell Clarkson. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really even think about whether or not I wanted to use promotion and relegation this year. That might be the, that might be a good thing to do if, like if Team Builder isn't back up as soon as it's supposed to be. So, you know, never say never. Never say never. If Bordeaux doesn't take FIU, maybe I have to go back. Who's to say? Who is to say? The Team Builder website's down. It's supposed to be back up as the game launches, but at the same time, there's no guarantees it'll be back up when the game launches, you know? No guarantee. It's not CFB if we don't spend a decade toiling in Conference 11. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Is there an NHL where you could relegate teams based on their record the year before? Crash, I don't think so. Not that I know of. Obviously, like the closest thing we have is Custom League, but once you set it up, then you can't change anything. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm trying to think even of like 2Ks and stuff like that. I don't think that exists for NHL. I guess if you can't GM multiple teams. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they've never, it's weird actually, now that you've brought that up, it's weird that they've never given us the option in game to be like, hey, Detroit's in the Western Conference again, right? Because like there has still been conference movement over the last 10 to 15 years, right? I mean, Columbus, Detroit, Arizona, like, and obviously like we're less than 10 years into like the Metro division being a thing. So it is a little bit weird that there isn't an NHL where you could just at the end of the year be like, oh, this team's moving to this conference. I'm actually kind of annoyed now that that doesn't exist. Now I'm bummed. NHL mode where every year the team that finishes last folds last team standing. I mean, Sergachev, that'd be insane. Funny enough, Sergachev, I think I know a way to pull that off. I think I do. It would be a lot of work, but I think I know a way to pull that off. You might have just geniused. It might have just geniused. Of course, it's the NHL community, so I mean, the video won't get any fucking views, unfortunately, for the work I'll put into it. But it is one of those fun ideas. Is Team Builder totally dependent on online? Yes. Yeah, so that's one of the more controversial things about college football is they have specifically tied create a team to online functionality to the point where if you want to use your team builder team, you have to have an online save, which is a bit concerning for me because if, I stream late, if they do server maintenance, then we're done for the night, So there is that. Just thinking about making the Pacific the 4, Central the 3, make us a team. Crash, yeah, I do think it could be done. It would just be a lot of user work. And I feel like restarting modes and stuff like that, too. Like, it'd be a pain in the ass. Is it the same this year? They have updated Team Builder, so it is supposed to be better. Or at least a little bit more fleshed out. So that's good. But we'll see what happens. Speaking of we'll see what happens, the deadline is coming up. Server's going to be cooked tomorrow night because they always are. Honestly, like, as much as I want to use a team builder team and do the idea that I've had in my head for months now, it might be best to wait and just do a more straightforward franchise to start. Because, yeah, the servers are probably going to be horrific tomorrow. Probably. That is fair. That is fair. So, yeah, maybe we do start off with something different to begin. And then the second one is team builder related. Could be. Could be. God, just putting the trade block on. Look how slow the sim's going. We're 26, 32, and 4. To be fair, I don't think 26 will be nearly as popular as 25. I mean, by default, yes, but it indeed could still be popular enough that things are brutal, Could be. Pierre-Luc Dubois, Benoit Pouliot, Matt Irwin, and a third for Columbus's very valuable first-rounder. Like, very valuable first-rounder. They do server maintenance, we go back to TW. Not wrong. Crashy, all good. Appreciate you as always, friendo. As always. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Not happening. Not happening. Dubois to Columbus is funny, though. So, yeah. We'll see. Like I said, college football-wise, it's like, it's one of those games we can just find a spur-of-the-moment idea. Did we do a short Kings run? No. And that's, oh my God. All right. But that's the, that's the fun of it, right? Is you can do so many different challenges, height, weight based. You can do all of this different stuff, So, I mean, there's a lot that that could be done. So, we'll see what happens. Max Pacioretty, who was kind of a rental, but kind of not, for 2 firsts and Kari Ramo. Panda, I don't think I'll be live right when the game comes out or activates. But I probably will have an earlier stream time tomorrow, yeah. How is Patches doing this year? Because we signed him to a 6-year deal. Niles, is he actually in the game or were people joking? Ramo's deal is up at the end of the year. Pacioretty. 44 points in 62 games. New Jack's actually in WWE 2K25. Hilarious. Hilarious. That is very funny. They are doing fun stuff with that game. I'll give them credit. I'm still not going to play it, but I'll give them credit. 24 goals for Patches in 62 games, 44 points. He had 74 points last year with 37 goals. I brought him in to be, like, the guy. They play his team through the entire match. Yeah, that is really funny, actually. Fair play. I mean, I'm sure it's a generic theme, though. And not natural born killers, you know? But still. I think we can move on from Patches. I mean, I might get in trouble for it or whatever the hell. But Pacioretty in a third for 2 firsts. Ramos a rental for the rest of the year. Like I said, I brought in Pacioretty to be like the guy, right? To carry Horvat. And especially, like, he's playing with Nikita Scherbak. Scherbak's got 52 points, 14 goals. Florida was the worst team in the league last season. Max Pacioretty, you are a Panther. Wow. Congratulations. Thank you, Florida, for 2 firsts. All right, so Ramos going to stay on the roster just because. Defense is still okay. Right wing side, Scherbak, Sprong, Korostelov, Davey Clarkman. Come on up, Dave. Touch my fucking water bottle. All right, cool. So David Clarkson's on the team for the rest of the year instead of Max Pacioretty. Gorpikoski, Gaunce, Clarkson, Osplin, McCann, Korostelov, Sprong, Dubois, Pouliot, Shinkarik, Horvat, Scherbak. Let's, we'll leave it, actually. And this year, down at Bowie, Theodore Tanev, Erwin Corrado, goalies, Fukale Pickard. Looks good. And now we got 2 extra first-round picks. And the good thing is, like, claiming Clarkson and getting Ramo back in the deal, we're still good. And then we say hello to Let's Go Heat for the 23 months. Heat, thank you so much for that. Closing in on the 2 years. Thank you for it. Do we claim Daniel Winnick in response? Probably not. I don't really think that we need him. He's not getting paid that much, so we'll just say no. Deadline time. One phone wonder. Nobody's calling. In hour number 1. Damn it. Other trade today, Scott Darling for Dale Weiss. Darren Dietz for Yuri Sekach. Nick Grossman for Trevor Stacey. And Andrew Giuliano. Justin Braun for Martin Jones for Robinson Peacock. Outstanding. Trade Vancouver happened in 05. Lyndon Rutu and Bertuzzi for Harold Troop and shout out to Todd Bertuzzi, by the way. Apparently has a death wish to die on the ice playing at his age. Bowie Horvat for a first and Louis Eriksson. Expiring contract of Louis Eriksson. No. We're not doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Jamie McGinn for a second and a third. So the Rangers are still selling. Sharks are calling. I didn't know they know how to use a telephone. Dubois and a third for 35-year-old Joe Pavelski. Love me, Joe Pavelski, but at 35, he could retire any season now, so no thank you. No thank you. The LA Kings are calling. Dwayne Cox and a third for LA's first. I mean, it says Cox is still NHL ready. He was an 81. He's now an 83. Yeah, he's going nowhere. He's going nowhere. No shot. No shot. And Minnesota. A first and a third for Ryan Suter. 35 years old, 6 years left. No. Because, again, he can retire at any moment now, so that is not worth it. But we did move on from Max Pacioretty for 2 firsts. And Kari Ramo, who won't be here for long. So I am more than happy with that deadline day. We weren't on the playoff pace that we wanted. Shout out to Brandon Peary, but we're not going to claim him either. I think we're okay to just move forward. Know that this season is likely not a playoff season, unfortunately. I mean, unless we just crush it now that Max Pacioretty isn't on the team. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll mostly focus on scouting. This team is getting very close to turning the corner. Honestly, if we were to sign that one dude, we would actually likely be okay. in terms of scoring threats. So I think we're good. Again, don't want to focus on goalies. Pretty happy with the goalies that we have. We have information on Westgarth. We still don't know much about Levesque or Nichols. Paul Levesque. Look at this skull. Isn't it cool? Gonna open a haunted house. Touch around this bowl of eyeballs. Might be my favorite new Legacy Inc. bit. Post-deadline, we are bad. We are very bad. Max Pacioretty was the one thing holding this team together, apparently. Any German forwards? Not really. Any American forwards? Kind of. Forwards in the queue. We got a top 10 dude, Levesque, that we still don't know what's going on with him. He might just be the best damn forward in this draft. Small thing, but I like the Vancouver. Yeah, that is interesting, right? That they took away Vancouver from the top of the logo. I don't hate that they removed it. It looked pretty good on the jerseys. But I can get why someone would be like, nah, I think that was better. You know? Totally get it. All right. Another trip to Quebec. Try and scout Paul Levesque. Same with Tampa on their old road jerseys. True. We still don't have much information on Malone. So yeah, see, it's like, obviously, like, modern NHLs, you have the tediousness of having to sign scouts and assign them. This had its own version of being incredibly tedious. Is if you wanted to do well, you had to put in a lot of time. So, you know. Well, in terms of trading Max Pacioretty and then mostly tanking the rest of the way, mission accomplished. We beat Florida as well, which is a positive because we obviously have their pick. There is a Russian goalie in the top 5 this year. Let's get some info on him, actually. Not that I'm unhappy with Fukale or Pickard, but Russian goalie in the top 5? You never know. You never know. Colorado, we won. Winnipeg, we lost. Good. Keep losing games, fellas. We hit our 30 wins. No more, no less than 30 to low 30s. This might be a cold take, but I really do not like the Reebok Edge era uniforms. I mean, they were controversial, right? Like, they were controversial. I think, like, especially early on. And I will give an example. I think by the end of it, Reebok mostly did well, right? Like, I mean, fuck it, just off the rack. Like a basic, like, Reebok jersey, fine by the end, right? But there were some uniform sets that they were just downgrades. That's the only way to put it, right? And, Let me bring up what we have here. So, I mean, Reebok Edge kicked in post-lockout. I don't know why this one fucking site's taking forever to load. Don't know why this one site's taking forever to load. But it is. So yeah, those, like, the Reebok Edge jerseys debuted in, like, the middle of the 2007 season. So, like, 08, 09 is a great example. Technically, you can actually go even earlier than that. Yeah, I mean, technically, you can go even earlier than that. Let's just say, like, 06, 07, right? Because you get the Reebok Edge system brought in. So it's like you had the Ducks. People hated these jerseys, man. Like, people really, really hated these Ducks jerseys. And I can't disagree with that. Like, there's going to be some Ducks fans that are like, I fucking love these jerseys. And, well, yeah, the team won a cup wearing them. By default, those are going to be pretty beloved jerseys. Give me 1 second here. I had to set up scouting, and we've also hit the end of the season. And, yeah, then we can talk about this nonsense, because you know me, I'm a jersey nerd. I like talking about this stuff. So again, like, the Ducks win in these jerseys, so it's like, oh, it is what it is. But again, in terms of like downgrade, people will always call it a downgrade. People to this day want them to go back to the eggplant and jade, as opposed to embracing the orange countiness of it all. The Thrashers, they weren't too negatively affected, really. Like, if you look at what they had beforehand, it's basically the same thing, with the exception of missing out on, like, the original darker jersey, which was sick, honestly, as a color scheme, right? Thrashers, not that bad. Bruins didn't get it too bad either around this time. You know, like, they went from 95 to 06, which I do think is a pretty good look. They dropped the Pooh Bear. They went with a bit of a flashback jersey, which, funny enough, they've now gone back to essentially full-time. But yeah, the Bruins didn't get it too bad either. Sabres had one of the major changes as well, right? Like, you're talking about going from the goat head, you know, Dominic Hasek era jerseys to the Buffaslug. So, yeah, you're not going to see too many Sabres fans that look back fondly on the Reebok era, because this was a miss, right? This was a miss. I have a bit of a fondness for the Buffaslug, I got to be honest. But I also like jerseys that aren't necessarily good. But like, there's no denying it was a downgrade, right? Calgary wasn't really negatively affected. Their jerseys basically stayed the same. This is what they had before. The only thing that happened, they lost Blasty, which was a mistake, right? Calgary wasn't negatively affected. Carolina basically kept the same jersey. Chicago, Colorado, Columbus basically kept the same thing. Dallas did temporarily. Detroit, obviously. You get to Edmonton, and again, they weren't all that negatively affected. They had already gone to, like, the rust-colored jerseys, stuff like that. Florida stayed the same. The Kings had minimal change, really, too. So, I mean, again, some teams didn't get it that bad. Minnesota, Montreal, Nashville had the same damn thing. A lot of teams kept the same thing early on. At least for, like, this first season, when it was starting to get rolled out, right? But then you go to 07-08. Ducks kept the same thing. Bruins had another change to the look that people remember them most for in recent times. Then Calgary gets that change, which I didn't hate, but a lot of people did. And the big reason for it is the piping. If you do not know what that is, the black line that starts halfway up the sleeve, goes down like the body of the jersey, that was the Reebok Edge staple. And a lot of jerseys were heavily affected by it. Around this time, you know, Carolina got an update to their jerseys. That piping is just stitch marks as opposed to actual piping. Chicago had their change. Then Colorado got their change. No denying these are a downgrade. There's a reason why they went back to the mountain pattern. Columbus had their change, which, to be honest, I think was fine. But also I'm nostalgic for that look because of Rick Nash. And then they murdered Dallas. They absolutely murdered Dallas. So that was the problem, right? Is it's like, okay, post-lockout, oh, okay, shit, like, Reebok's coming in, it might not be that bad. You know, some of the jerseys are getting revealed, some of them aren't. You know, again, like the Bruins, like, it is what it is. And then you get to, like, here's what they did to Dallas. And again, I like that Dallas home jersey, but it's a bad jersey. It is. Edmonton, they got afflicted by the piping. You know, up the body of the jersey, basically. Florida got affected by it. Color scheme is still great, but, you know, LA avoided the piping, but got much more simplified jerseys. Minnesota, you know, their third jersey became the home jersey. I like that uniform set for Minnesota. I don't give a shit. Nashville got their change, which a lot of people hate. Like the really yellow look for Nashville. It's so much better than what these were. These just didn't work. Of course, like the Islanders had their change. The Sens had their big rebranding, which, again, I don't mind the look of, but a lot of people didn't like. I think the road jersey worked better than the home jersey, though. Philly got a big change, which I still think it's better than what they have now. Coyotes got their big change, but then a team that always comes to mind is St. Louis when you think of the piping. I've seen defenses of it being like, oh, but the yellow, it's like the St. Louis Arch. And it's like, it was a downgrade, you know? But like I said, some teams it kind of worked, like with the Sharks adding more orange. Tampa had their change as well. It was just a really weird time. And then, yeah, like you had the Caps who still have theirs, but you can go through this list and see just how many teams have kept that branding that, you know, Reebok delivered to them. And the answer is not many. And most of the ones that did were teams that had legacy jerseys like Chicago, like Detroit, teams like that, you know? So that Panthers logo is so much better than the one they have now. I agree. I do agree. So, yeah, like I said, it's really weird to look back on those Edge jerseys. I don't even know what comment started this. But it is really weird to look back on the Edge jerseys and just be like, okay, this team they were treated all right by Reebok, and then others not so much. But, you know, I think Reebok also, like, they figured it out towards the end of the deal. They had a lot of good alternate jerseys, in my opinion. I mean, look, I'm never going to hate on Reebok too much. I mean, you know, like they delivered this Vancouver jersey for that outdoor heritage game. I mean, come on. They had some hits, all right? They had some hits. Wasn't a 100% success rate, but they had some hits. Let's see. What are the rules for this? Absolutely nothing. The rule is try not to suck, and I'm not doing very good at that. Got the Shereback and Horvath, though. Horvath might have finished with more goals this season than Pacioretty did. Shinkarik did pretty well. Dubois might have won the Calder. Even Benoit Pouliot was contributing pretty well. Sprong with 38 points. I mean, we're definitely adding more youth to the lineup, and they're continuing to do well. Ooh, Madison Bowie, 58 points. Let's go. Gio did great, too. So about the Leaping Coyote jersey. Here was another issue in regards to these jerseys at the time from Reebok, and then I'll stop ranting. One of the other things that they struggled with was the collar. And it's a little bit difficult to see. But on the road jersey, you can see the NHL Shield placements. And I'll give you an example. The NHL Shield placement, right where you'd typically think to find it, right? Like, kind of tucked in on the inside of the collar. This, you know, Coyote jersey is amazing. Look at the shield placement. It's this weird Nike style, almost like a V or a Y shape, and then the shield is just like right here on the jersey. Very awkward. Just doesn't look right. Always hated that. I don't know why they did that. That was one of my big gripes with the jerseys at the time, was like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing that for? Like, to me, that was as big of like, what the hell are you doing, as Reebok bringing in like the Pilgrim collars, especially for Chicago. What? Why? Why the hell would you do that? So, yeah, definitely some hits and misses. Definitely, I thought it was supposed to look like a dog tag. Maybe, but I hated it. I hated it. I had a Ducks jersey with that. The jersey's great, but literally just the collar and the shield just irked me. Don't know how else to say it, but that's the truth. They did. I had a Ducks jersey with that, and I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right. Tyler Sagan, John Tavares, Jamie Benn, Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Drouin. In this timeline, he was the man. 100 points each, at the very least. Tavares scored 62 goals. Ovi, Kane, Skinner and Ryan Johansson at a 96 overall. All with at least 50 goals. Damn. What would have happened had Ryan Johansson stayed in Columbus? Defensively, PK Subban, point per game. Holy God. Carlson was up there. Morgan Rielly, Nick Leddy, Roman Josi. Damn. For goalies, the winningest, Varlamov. You had Neuwirth, Elliott, Price, and Braden Holtby tied with Jonathan Quick as well. Fukale, though, was up there with 31. Not bad. And for the rookies, it should be Pierre-Luc Dubois as your Rookie of the Year, unless they give it to Alex Heatley, who was the second overall pick last year by Columbus that we didn't take. Fair enough. We took the other guy who was really good. Actually, in fairness, we probably should have taken Heatley. Svechnikov did well. D'Angelo, Braden Point. Daniel Sprong was up there, too. Plus, minus. I don't know. Good look. Rookie goalies. Kenzie Blackwood, Daniel Altschuler, Ken Appleby, Michael Gugavaz. Great name. Philippe DeRozier. And Ryland Toth. Plus minus leader, Burakovsky and Landeskog at 42. And in the basement, Justin Braun and Dougie Hamilton. Both 36 under. Yikes, you meant for the rookies. Well, too late. It is too late. It's not, but it is. Because I have a draft that I would like to get to. Especially after ranting and raving about jerseys for 6 years. As you do, you know? As you do. As you do. Regular season has ended. Beautiful, beautiful. Nah, Cody, you're fine. Just wasn't sure. All right. You know, the funny thing is, people tonight have been like, hey, more TEW, dude. The itch is there, though. It would kind of suck to run like one more month of it and then just be like, okay, and I have no idea when I'm going to play it again. I'd feel kind of bad. Like, we really did hit like the best stopping point that we could have. Which is a shame. No plus minus factored into awards on old gen. I don't know either, actually. So you were right to ask about it because obviously we know it factors in on like 25. So, but I think so far it's been whatever rookie just has the highest points. Worst trend, Reebok piping or the Nike toilet bowl collars in the NFL? That's a tough one. How do I still not have information on that guy? Jesus. That is so annoying. I've scouted the Dubs so many times. That's crazy. Razor, that's a really good question. That is a really good question. And, yeah. I'm trying to find good, picture examples of the old toilet bowl look. Just so people who might not know what you're talking about can get an idea. While also trying to pay attention to scouting so we can make a bit of progress, of course. We're looking pretty good in terms of defenders being scouted out. Except for later on. So just trying to make sure like the first round's covered. What do we want to do here? Scout in Finland for the moment. Of course, all of this is second. Oh, dude, the sleeved NBA jerseys were atrocious. Oh my God. Some people like them because, of course, right? But yeah, that was a That was a time. All right, I found one article. It's not the best, but you know, I compare this certainly to like the Reebok Pilgrim collars. That's what people meant by like the toilet bowl collars on NFL jerseys, which yeah, this is what they like went back to. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Your opinion, what's the busiest looking NHL jersey? The Tampa Storm jersey is a good shout. That is a very busy jersey. Two jerseys immediately came to mind to me for the busiest jerseys of all time. There are going to be other great options, but again, these are the two that came to mind. First and foremost, the Montreal 2008-2010 100th Anniversary Collection. Guess what busy jersey I'm talking about? Guess what jersey was an absolute goddamn nightmare to watch on television? And another one that came to mind is one of my favorites. That New York Islanders alternate. It's not even overly busy. It's just, what the hell were they thinking? Yeah, the Montreal barber pole was like, dude, I couldn't watch the games. I couldn't watch the games. Like, it was impossible to actually just be able to focus on the damn puck. I unironically like the Islanders jersey. Me too, because again, I like ugly jerseys. I like ugly jerseys. I would love to have one of those Islander jerseys, but is what it is. Do we have anybody else? Anybody else? Let's go to Sweden for a little bit. We got a draft to prepare for, damn it.